Hello and welcome, whether you're here for the first time or returning. In today's video, we're examining two separate cases that bring up some serious questions about crime, borders, and enforcement here in the UK. The first story is about a repeat offender who was deported not once, but twice, only to return and openly show off his lavish lifestyle on social media while he waits for an asylum decision. The second case follows a cross-border burglary ring, where two men entered the UK illegally and started breaking into homes within just 24 hours of their arrival. These are two very different situations, but when you look at them together, they really highlight the intersection of organized crime, easy mobility across borders, and the gaps in our enforcement systems. Let's start with Dorian Puka, an Albanian national with a long criminal record in the UK. His story with the British justice system begins back in 2016, when he was jailed for 9 months after a burglary conviction. Just a year later, he was deported after being caught trying to break into another property. The homeowner, who was on holiday in France at the time, spotted him on a webcam and alerted the police. But despite being officially removed from the country, Puka managed to re-enter the UK within a year, completely bypassing border controls. Once he was back, he didn't waste any time. He carried out a series of burglaries across London before he was arrested again. This time, he was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison and was deported for a second time in March 2020. Now, you would think that would be the end of the story. But it wasn't. In late 2020, despite 2 deportations, Puka entered the UK yet again. This time, his strategy was different. Instead of trying to stay under the radar, he claimed asylum. This single act completely changed the game. By claiming asylum, he triggered a legal process that prevents his removal from the country until his case is fully heard and all appeals are exhausted. Since 2023, he's been on immigration bail, fitted with an electronic tag, and is waiting for an immigration tribunal to make a decision. Until that process is complete, the Home Office has no legal power to deport him, regardless of his past crimes. What's really drawn public attention to this case is Puka's behavior while he waits. He hasn't been keeping a low profile. Instead, he's been actively posting on social media, showcasing a life of luxury. His posts include videos of him partying in exclusive Mayfair nightclubs, smoking shisha, and drinking champagne. He's been seen driving high-end cars like Ferraris and Rolls-Royces, and flashing expensive watches, including Rolex models. In one particularly bold video, he wished his followers a Happy New Year from a London nightclub, with a final shot of Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament in the background. When someone online asked him if he felt any remorse for his crimes, he reportedly shot back, "Serious crime? You call that serious crime?" He's also openly mocked his critics and public figures, which has only added fuel to the public backlash. So, what's the official word on this? The Home Office has confirmed that because of UK law, Puka cannot be deported until his asylum claim is fully resolved. This situation has drawn criticism from politicians across the board, who see it as a clear example of the system being exploited. On the other hand, supporters of the current legal framework argue that due process is essential and must be followed for everyone, regardless of their background. But critics counter that repeat foreign offenders who pose a risk should be fast-tracked for removal. For now, the case is stuck in legal limbo, and Puka remains in the UK. Now let's turn to our second case. This one involves 2 Romanian nationals, 44-year-old Ion Zaharia and 23-year-old Sumir Barbilsteniu. They entered the UK illegally through Harwich Port in October 2025. They arrived in a silver Citroën C4 with French number plates, a detail that would later prove critical for the police investigation. CCTV footage captured the men at a service station shortly after their arrival, before they drove nearly 260 miles north to Cheshire. Within 24 hours of setting foot in the UK, a string of burglaries began. Homes across Warrington, Widnes, Merseyside, and even North Yorkshire were targeted. The victims included families who came home from holiday to find their doors smashed and bedrooms completely ransacked. Children's rooms were torn apart. Elderly residents were left terrified after intruders broke into their homes while they were sleeping. The thieves stole cash, jewelry, and items of deep sentimental value. In one heartbreaking instance, they even took money from a child's bedroom. One elderly woman who was targeted said the experience left her feeling permanently unsafe in her own home. Cheshire police quickly noticed a pattern emerging across these incidents and launched Operation Fabricated. Using a MPR, or automatic number plate recognition cameras, they found that the same French-registered Citroën was spotted near the scenes of multiple burglaries. The police then worked with the Foreign National Offender Team and the Home Office. They traced the car all the way back to its entry point at Harwchport and identified Zaharia and Barbilstanu as the occupants. The investigation came to a head on December 9th. Officers tracked the two men to Birmingham Airport and arrested them just moments before they could board a flight to Amsterdam. When they searched their hand luggage, they found cash and gold jewelry. At Liverpool Crown Court, both men pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit burglary. The judge, in his sentencing, noted that the pair had started their crime spree almost immediately upon entering the country. He also made a point to highlight the profound emotional impact their actions had on the victims, especially the children and the elderly. Ayaan Zaharia was sentenced to 4 years and 3 months in prison. Samir Barbilstanu received a sentence of 3 years and 6 months. Once they complete their sentences, both men will be deported back to Romania. So here we have two very different cases. One involves a repeat offender caught in a long, drawn-out legal process, while the other involves a swift criminal operation that was stopped at an airport gate. But both stories shine a light on just how quickly criminal activity can cross borders and how complex the balance is between enforcement, individual rights, and the law. They raise difficult questions about prevention, accountability, and ultimately, public safety. Before we finish, we want to acknowledge that there are real people with real lives at the heart of these stories. Our aim is always to present these facts with care, accuracy, and respect for everyone involved. If you appreciate thoughtful, fact-based content like this, we post new videos regularly. You can subscribe to our channel to stay updated, and make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss our latest uploads. We'd love to hear your thoughts on these cases, so please share them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.